So that's definitely possible. And again, we would like to see the CVs if there are multiple partners. The time frame for the grant can be quite variable. Really depends on linking that to your budget. We would like you to finish within the fiscal year, but if you need to extend beyond, we could definitely do that. Do we have specific requirements for project outputs? Well, other than you doing a fireside chat and producing a working paper report for us, using the funds to leverage other funds, so an application to CIHR or some other application, but not to the ministry, right? Because we're not leveraging funds, again, from the ministry. In the proposal, it will be good to provide us with a little bit of background, but keeping in mind everyone around the table does research on health human resources, so you don't have to talk to us about the aging of the workforce or get into a lot of detail about that. So there's some things that you can just take as a given. But if it's something particular to a professional group, give us some background about why the issue that you're studying is particularly problematic and why it's important.
Can I ask another question? Oh.
So I think those are the main frequently asked questions that we've received to date. So again, let me open that up and see if there's anything else.
I remembered my question now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. In terms of leveraging funds, is it possible to apply for the funds concurrently? So, for example, I'm thinking about a project previously submitted to CIHR.
Yeah.
It was seen as being too big, and so if it's broken in two, so a piece of it is submitted to this so that the other piece can be submitted to CIHR.
That's right, yeah. And again, just identify that if you're applying for other funds, so there's a section where you talk about you have funds already or are you applying for other funds, that's where you would describe it.
Okay.
So that would be good. So yeah, I mean, definitely doing something that you're pairing funds together, but it's clear that there's a clear deliverable coming out of the funds that we're giving you from OHHRRN.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And this one is more technical. I can't seem to upload the PowerPoint. It tells me that the file is damaged. Are other people having problems?
Okay, I haven't heard from that, but we'll get our webmaster to check that.
Yeah, and you know what? It's probably the file is fine, but for some reason some computers cannot download. So it's Dot speaking. So if you send me an email, I'll reply and send that to you. Okay?
Okay.
That goes for anyone. Very happy to help you with that.
Okay, and Hilda's posted a question. So if hosting a conference on knowledge and having a capacity building objective, what should the proposal incorporate? Do you want to expand a bit further, because I'm not exactly sure what you're asking, Hilda?
Well, I'm in the process of working with the Aboriginal Nurses of Canada and Men in Nursing and our new group, Canadian Nurses for Health and the Environment.
Okay.
We will be hosting a conference, and we are trying to build capacity within all our organizations and really trying to focus on knowledge and communicating knowledge and some of the research out there.
Okay.
So I wonder if that would qualify.
Yeah, again, and if you just, identify clearly what, how that responds to the priorities that we've identified, and I think that there are a lot of people quite interested in looking at Aboriginal health human resources or Francophone health human resources. So health human resource issues targeting a specific group. So those are definitely relevant. So yeah, in a proposal, just be really clear what the deliverables would be out of a project that you're proposing and how it links in with the priorities that we've identified. We've tried to keep them as broad as possible.
Right, because we're really looking at marginalized groups, men in nursing, and the Aboriginal community. Their goal also is to try to get more students involved in nursing from the Aboriginal group and from male
so
nursing.
For example, if you had some kind of effort looking at trying to draw and trying to evaluate particular efforts at getting people interested Aboriginal people interested in becoming a health professional, and which. That would be interesting. I'm not saying that that's necessarily what you're asking for, but that's just one example of what would definitely be relevant.
Yes, that's certainly one of the objectives of the conference, exactly that, to get more Aboriginal, the Aboriginal community interested in going into nursing.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I have another question from Carol. And Pasche, so can the research and results of the research, assuming acceptance of the proposal, be completed in French? And the answer is yes. If you wanted to submit the proposal in French, you could do that as well. I read French, but I'm not exactly sure about the other team reading French. But we could bring in someone to review that. But the deliverables could most definitely be produced in French, and this is something that we could coordinate with the Francophone group. Now, the Francophone group does not have an open call for proposals at this point. They may, but we may also be able to partner with them, because we're both cross-cutting groups and we have about the same amount of funds, so we each have $250,000. So we can partner up if there's a particular issue in regards to Francophone health human resources. We can definitely do that. So we want to be as open to French as possible at the application or the deliverable phase. Dot, maybe you could comment here. We also have accessibility. Dot is bilingual, so we have begun to host fireside chats that are in French.
Yeah, we're just starting to work on that again. We have hosted a few.
Getting a list of those, that would be great. Thank you.
Everybody who is on the list, I will add to the CHNet update broadcast. So we send out announcements about every week with upcoming fireside chats. Currently it's unilingual, sometimes bilingual, but you'll notice a change in the next little while.
Thank you.
Good. So I don't have any other calls for proposal kind of questions. But again, I'll just sort of open it up to people who are on the phone as to whether or not there are other subsequent questions that have come up from our conversation.
Hi, Ms. Josephine Etowa. Did you say there might be other calls for proposal that would come later, or these two is what you have for the year?
Well, we haven't decided whether or not. I mean, we will always have an open call for proposal in both the Population Health Improvement Research Network and in the Health Human Resources. We will have a call. They might get a bit more directed as the years come along, and I don't know whether or not we will have one in the fall, but that's definitely something that we can bring up and discuss with the advisory committee that we've developed.
Thank you.
So we'll get that information out as soon as we can.
Ivy, it's Joe Byers calling from Sudbury Health Unit. Thank you very much for this really great overview from somebody from this area. I had no idea that you folks existed. I certainly knew about SHREW and Craner and Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care and so forth and the McMaster work, but it was really nice to sort of see how all of the new pieces come together. So I appreciate the overview, and we'll be sharing it with the staff in my area.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, so please, we are trying to, through a variety of different means, get this information out. So for some people, they've heard this before, but for some people, it's brand new. So I'm really glad that that was helpful for you. So please do share the slides. They're totally public domain. And have people come and visit our websites and ask us questions. Chantal, who's also on the line, she's been fielding a half dozen or so questions every day about the call for proposals, about the network. So we really do want to increase everyone's knowledge about what we're doing and the kinds of activities that we're interested in supporting, And yeah, it's great to be able to provide some funds for people to do this. You know, there's a lot of research that can be done. It doesn't have to